Well, hey, Gundamaniacs. So, Seed Freedom has had its theatrical run, as limited as it was. And, I've put up various posts about what I've thought, seeing what people think about it. And actually, a longtime friend of the channel reached out to me and said, hey, maybe you should do a video covering, the coverage of what people think about it. That's a good idea. So, I want to go through what people have said on this channel, plus the Rotten Tomatoes score, and really kind of get an understanding or idea of how did Seed Freedom turn out. I mean, hey, we know that it did bank at the box office, so that's a good thing. All right, so I started with a poll, and I asked, what did you think of Seed Freedom? For those that have seen it, there's multiple ways to watch it, right? And for some people, it's kind of hard to see it, but let's see. So 48% loved it, 17% liked it, 20% it was fine, 14 not for me. I think these four expressions are kind of a good way to get an understanding if you like something or not, or the degree of it, because you can either love it and think about it a whole lot, or yeah, it's not for me, either meaning it's just bad, or it is just not for you. And liked it and it was fine work, because it's interesting, I feel like I'm in the middle between loved it and liked it, and maybe I'll get into that a little bit, but it was fine, I think, is a general good way to state something you've seen. And so it was fine seems to be in second place, which I think is still pretty good, but I like to see how many people loved it. Even though, and I've said it before, I'm not the biggest Seed fan, but Destiny in this movie has kind of changed that for me. Okay, so comments on that poll. I need to cheer for Lacus and Kira, that's all I wanted to do. Rooting for that couple ship, of course. Haven't seen it yet. You know what? That is a problem, since it had a limited theatrical run, and we don't even know when it's going to be on Crunchyroll. Hopefully they make an announcement. The only thing I complain about is the death of my favorite ship, really. It was hard to follow for me, but I liked it. I think that's valid. It did move really quick back and forth between a lot of different things. I kind of like that fast-pacedness of this. I cannot explain how interested I am in non-UC Gundam anime. So wait, I cannot explain how interested I am in non-UC Gundam anime. So I don't know if that means you're not interested or are interested, but I kind of get it. Like, I see a UC style logo there or emblem, and that's kind of my thing. Like, again, I'm mainly into UC, but I really liked how Freedom turned out. As a film, I would give it a 4 out of 10, but Seed isn't something known for their deep storytelling writing. It's for the action and mech design. In that aspect, 9 out of 10. Okay, I respect that. That makes sense. Yeah, if you're specifically with no knowledge of Gundam going to watch Freedom as a movie, you might be like, what the heck is this? But for what it's trying to do, it does it. I would like to watch it, but people who are not Gundam Seed fans get to watch before me. Those fake fans are so lucky. Well, hey, don't look at them that. You see, people that are not Gundam Seed fans, they get a chance to watch it. Maybe that makes them a fan, and then makes it bigger, and then we get more Seed stuff out of it. So, yeah, they're lucky, but hey, they're not necessarily fake. I mean, hey, I just got into Gundam recently, and it's not about being fake. It's about discovering something new and being in awe of it, but not knowing everything about it. And sometimes that is, a bit intimidating, because when you go out and, to talk to the community, you don't want people being like, oh, you're a fake fan. And then from Frosty Fennel, loved it. So yeah, that's good to hear. All right, so I did another video. Actually, it was with the crew of Gundam Explained vets that we got around just to talk about what we thought of the movie in general. So, loved Atherin. I agree, he was great in it. Watched both sub and dub, loved both dub. Loved both. Dub is better than I expected, yeah. I like dubs now that I've been getting into anime and watching more anime. I prefer hearing it so I can look, but there's always room for sub, especially if you really want to get into the details of what they're saying, how to pronounce things, although, yeah, that got blown out of the water in Freedom. Lacus, Shin Bros, we won finally after 20 years of slander. Yeah, that is funny, because Shin was this character that, from after watching Destiny, I was like, dang, I like Destiny, I like Shin. But online, people didn't really talk about Shin as much as they talked about Kira. And I'm like, well, Shin is obviously the better hero, just in my opinion. But what they did for him in this movie was great, because they made him just a part of the team, but a badass. All right, from Neon Wave, longtime friend of the channel. I don't think Agnes was entitled or thought she deserved someone like Kira. I think it's more that she just wanted someone amazing to love her. Kira is a commanding officer, well-known, talented, smart, handsome, kind, etc. It's a no-brainer as to why she'd be attracted to him. A lot of people want the best of the best. Guys want supermodels, women want Bruce Wayne, not realizing that the best don't want them. Likes attract likes, thus Kira and Agnes were definitely not compatible, even if he was single. Shira is also talented, a commander, and has other traits that would classify him as a top-tier pick, so Agnes falling for him also makes sense, especially since he showed respect, attraction towards her. Obviously he didn't, and it was just manipulation, but you get what I mean. So it's very interesting when we talk about what people want the best of, and really, when it comes to a genuine relationship with a person, it's actually getting to know them. So really what we're seeing is Agnes is just, wanting to be with people that happen to be at that spot, but that doesn't mean they're right for them. In fact, that's why this didn't work out for her, because she was going the wrong way about love. You know, she saw what was on the surface, not really what it really takes. But then they used the similar trope we've seen a lot of Gundam, where you see that the love angle is being taken advantage of by the other team to kind of get people to move over. We saw that with Rekoa, for instance. Meanwhile, Orphe was the actual entitled one. He thought he deserved to have Lacus love him due to believing he's special and superior. Can't blame him for thinking that way, since he was most probably told his whole life that he was destined to be with Lacus, or at least that he was amazing. Sounds similar to what happens in the real world. You're special, you're 10-10, you deserve the best, you're a prize. When he didn't get what he wanted, he lashed out and blamed Lacus for being awful towards him, which is typical of those who are entitled. But you know, what's interesting in this story is that that character, Orphe, was kind of put in, initiated into this sort of long-term plan of like, hey, you're made for a certain reason, and this person was too, so you're supposed to be with them. I think there's a lot more deeper fictional situations here to make that, you know, because again, remember, these are younger people, so when it comes to liking others, it gets, you know, very overly dramatic and kind of like high school style stuff going on. As for Kira and Lacus' relationship, the movie showed us what a troubled couple can look like. Kira and Lacus are busy with their jobs, duties, plus they doubt themselves and each other. They feel as though they weren't meant for each other or don't deserve each other, thinking they aren't deserving. What's the solution to overcoming this problem in the relationship? Talking it out, exactly. They only managed to do so towards the end when they took a step back and thought to themselves what they truly wanted and felt. A healthy relationship can overcome obstacles like busy schedules and doubt if the couple in question talk things out and get their feelings out. Yeah, that was a neat, even if it's a tropey part of the story where it's like something happens at the beginning to the two people that are in love or together, and it seems like, oh no, they're split for some reason, and then it's like, oh, just talk about it, and then eventually they do talk about it. And I kind of like how that mirrors reality. It's really all about just talking through things. The film also showed us what love is not. Love is about two people working together, being considerate, respecting, and trusting each other. Agnes and Orphe were both selfish and didn't respect the choices or feelings of those they desired. They only cared about their own feelings and not those around them. Agnes wanted the best but ignored Kira's rejection. Orphe believed he was deserving of Lacus and didn't respect her choices or feelings. Yeah, those were very well done caricatures of that sort of archetype. That kind of helps drive a story forward. When you have that sort of love that is not met, and then that causes stress, that's what kind of causes the conflict in a story. Lastly, my theater experience was interesting. It was packed, maxed out entirely. I bought tickets to see the sub, but the theater messed up in their system and ended up seeing the dub instead. Wow, the staff informed everyone of the mix-up after the first 50 minutes of the film, and about half of the audience went to the next room to see the sub. I stayed behind because I didn't care if it was dubbed. Still enjoyed it nonetheless. Except the mispronunciation of Lacus' name, Lacus. Yeah, I loved the dub. I just love hearing people act so I can see everything. There was a lot going on to see in that Seed Freedom. But pretty interesting that you stayed in the dub. I probably would have stayed in the dub too, if, unless I just hadn't seen the sub yet. But that's interesting to hear that it was packed. Because, I was surprised how many people were at my theater. Like I said in that video, I couldn't even we were going to get in line for concessions. We're like, no, we can't do that. There's too many people. Wait, did Agnes go after Shin? It doesn't sound like it in the movie that she was after him just after the Immortal Justice. But then again, that one line at the end where she said, I loved him too. Not sure if it was directed at Shin or Shira, because Novel said Shira. Based on the novel. Oh, because novel? Based on the novel that was given out in the movie in the Academy days, she never liked Shin. Yeah, because I remember they talked about, I don't know if this is referring to a novel or some character named Novel that I forgot about, but yeah, if you're talking about that kind of prehistory with her character being like the best of the best, and so she kind of thought she deserved the best in that way, and that could be, I guess, based on her past experience, the character attribute that's there. That helps cause some interesting conflict in the movie. maybe she started liking him because he has shown to be a man worthy of praise. Agnes comes off as someone who just wants a top-tier guy, but Kira was around, so she set her eyes on him over Shin. Based on her behavior, she probably would have tried to win Shin over if Shira wasn't around, who, by the way, was also a top-tier guy, but showed her respect. Thus, she went to him after being rejected by Kira. Yeah, it's like and that kind of even proves how much she didn't really love Kira for who he was. Just because of who he was, she felt she needed to be with him. That didn't work, so she went to the next one. Yeah, it really shows that she's kind of doing the more immature style of trying to find love. But if she's integrating her skills, her use in a mobile suit in combat with who she should be, she could be just a troubled person in general with, needing to use violence as a way to sort of answer questions in her life. And then I guess someone followed up with, she saw Shin fight 4 of them at once and managed to take out 3 of them. But during the whole fight against Luna, she kept insulting Shin by saying, "Oh, why are you with a guy like that?" It could be true that she might have been jealous of Luna because Shin is able to coordinate with Luna. And it is able to coordinate her with Luna and notice when Impulse ran out of power, but I am not sure if she does have, like Shin, even at the end of it all. So I was able to decipher that, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's not really that she likes Kira or is in love with Kira or in love with Shin. She just feels she's entitled because of her past experiences to be with these people, and then she is seeing the love people have around her, and part of her just truly probably wants that, just doesn't know how to go about it yet. All right, from Robert, long time channel friend. Foundation is cruel for killing my favorite Gundam protagonist ship. That and the nation of Orb ought to have the official upgraded blueprints to the ship, still thanks to Chief Erica Simmons and Morgan Norette. Names I don't know. But why did they have to end with perceived immodesty? So, yeah, one thing that's interesting is, of course they're probably gonna have blueprints of the ship, because remember they happen to have all those new Gundams all of a sudden, which, crazy, but hey, that works for the story for me. And then from Nathan Toby, Kira looks more vulnerable, tired emotionally and physically, and finally realized that all he needs is love. Atherin solidifies his place as the best pilot in Seed. Shin finally in a good path because of how he looked up to Kira. Yeah, I really like how they resolved a lot of the characters. I even thought they did a good job with kind of reinforcing the negative attributes of Kira as I've felt from Seed and Seed Destiny. I'm like, I don't really like Kira as a character. It's like he feels like I don't know, that could be a whole story, but I feel like the way they treated him and Atherin and Shin was like the perfect ending. And think about it, how crazy it is that, and let me move to full screen real quick, because this is an interesting thought. How many AUs, Gundam AUs, have stories well beyond their original airing of either a show or movie? I think it's really just Seed, right? It's what, like 15, nearly 20 years, I forget what it is, since we had the last one. That's pretty neat. Have any other AUs done that? Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes, 98% audience score from 100 plus verified ratings. When I see that, I gotta say, you know what? I agree. I can see that happening. Let's see if I can move this over a little bit. Mainly because, again, the movie is just a entertaining film. It just is. It looks great. Fast pace. I can see, and here's the other thing. How many people are going to see Seed because they know Gundam? How many people have went to see Seed Freedom without knowing Gundam? I really don't know. Other than, taking my wife and kid to see it. So I'll just read this real quick from Derek L. Freedom is certainly an excellent entry within the Mobile Suit Gundam Seed franchise, with excellent animation and action sequences, with a story that was well built, especially within its characters amongst protagonists Kira Yamato and Lacus Klein. If anything, I feel that Shin Asuka is definitely one of the most redeemable characters throughout the film. Yeah, that's a really good point. It's funny how Shin isn't necessarily in the spotlight, but when you follow his character throughout the film, it just makes him the coolest character. You just like him. It makes all his history just that much more interesting. An art by Stefano B. Everything a Gundam Seed fan is looking for in a movie, and very capable of grabbing onto any new fans who are interested in the series by focusing on character development and interesting plot-driven art. Okay, so there was one critic review, and how it works on Rotten Tomatoes is you actually have to submit to be a critic. In fact, you submit it It's based on like how much content you've made in the past 2 years and everything, and then they can verify you. This is on filminc.com from Kane Noble Davies. It's long, I'm not going to read it all, but you can find it on Rotten Tomatoes. Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom is unquestionably made for the fans, and they will absolutely get their fill of 60-foot-tall soap opera antics, but with the character drama and space action dialed up. There's still a certain incredulous joy to be had out of it, even from a casual perspective. Once you push past any semblance of a need to take things completely seriously, its curious blend of laser combat and adolescent-adjacent romance shenanigans makes for quite the fun experience. That is a really good way to put it there. Yeah, so that was a look at what the Gundam Explained community thinks of Seed Freedom and then some other sources, and at the end of the day, it's really cool how positive everything is. I mean, I don't scour social media like I used to back in the day, so yeah, there could be people complaining like people tend to, but without diving into that stuff, I've had a solid positive experience coming out of that movie. I will probably watch it again when it comes to Crunchyroll, because it's enjoyable. Like, even I can't stand the way the faces are designed, the noses and everything, and even, you know, some of the soap opera melodramatic stuff could be a little too much, but they did a really good job in this movie. Anyway, even though I went through what everyone thinks, feel free, if you haven't shared any of your thoughts, do so below in the comment section. I'd like to see what you guys have to say. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the supporters for making this possible, and until next time, be cool.